Welcome to the Elite Podcast, where we discuss business, family, and life. Now, welcome to your hosts, Mr. H. Rod himself, Henry Rodriguez, and Ryan Arditi, the SCV MVP.
All right, podcast world, it's your favorite insurance guy, Henry Rodriguez, and as always, I'm with my co-host,
Ryan Arditi, the SCV MVP.
Hey, Diddy. This exclusive EliteX podcast, we got another good one, man. A really good one.
I think for the first time in my life, I'm a little nervous.
You're sweating already.
Yeah.
We're just starting,
Well,
my
I had
guy.
an energy drink, so I
Well, yeah, what's up with that Zoa?
I don't know.
What did The Rock put in that thing, dude?
Whoever gave me that, I'm about to run through a brick wall right now.
Jeez, Corin, where you at, man? I need to get a towel for Ryan. He's sweating already.
Should we add some water to it?
You got 20% of the drink, dude. Hey, what's up, boys?
What's up,
man?
buddy?
Looking
He's
sharp
good.
today.
Look at
Thank
him.
you, sir.
Wow.
Hey, where are you going today? You're all over the place. You're touring Santa Clarita right now.
I'm on a little media run,
You
baby.
are. Can you
Yeah.
talk about that real quick?
Sure. I'm actually headed over to SCV TV Community
Ooh,
Corner to
I
talk
like
about
that.
the Michael Hoffman Foundation and
All
our
right.
big walk coming up April 20th.
I know that's near and
Central
dear
Park.
right now. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love
I'm on
it.
a
The
mission.
Voice is a superstar,
Dude,
huh?
he's a stud.
Stop.
I like it.
Stop.
I think it's the salt and pepper look.
Okay, give me more.
Maybe he'll get a star
Jorge
on...
Clooney over here.
Maybe a
Wise
star.
old man. The more grace, the wiser you are.
So obviously there's a lot of rumble about insurance, right?
more than a lot right now.
I know you don't want me to bring it up, but
It's a sensitive, tough subject right now.
I feel like there's anyone who can give some knowledge. It's Mr. H. Rod himself. If you were a consumer, what would you tell people, or what advice would you give?
Yeah, I mean, right now it's definitely not shoot from the hip. So my best advice from a consumer standpoint is if you're looking to shop, you always want to shop, right? You want to shop the best rates, best coverages. But if you're currently shopping right now, before you pull the trigger, you want to not cancel whatever you currently have. Because what I'm seeing a lot out there is that a sales rep will convince a consumer to make the switch. They cancel what they currently have. They make the switch, and then in a month or two, they're not able to issue that policy. Now they put that client in a bind, right?
Yeah.
They just canceled with somebody, thinking they're gonna get a better rate or better coverage, and they couldn't execute on it. So just before you cancel with your current company, please make sure that the policy is issued with your new company. That's my best advice right now from a consumer because it's choppy waters right now. It's bad.
I like working with you because even though there's issues, you're always kind of willing to give the advice and share.
I appreciate that, man.
And I
I'm always
think-
here to be a resource.
Well, we've got to know each other the last 4 or 5
Just a
years.
little bit,
So it's
a little
going
bit.
well. But
Yeah.
I think that's good, and, we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. Again, just don't shoot from the hip right now. So again, and it's not. I don't think it's gonna get any easier
I
soon.
was going to ask
but
you, do you see changes? Or?
we'll see. We'll
Okay.
see. It is an election year, so we'll see.
Let's
And
just-
I'll leave it at that.
As long as you have billboards, I'm fine. That's all that matters. That's all that matters.
What is going on with this high school
my
name
gosh.
change, dude?
You know what? I knew they were changing it, but I didn't know it was going into full effect.
I mean, I was looking at they had a whole nomination
What's
thing.
your favorite? What one would you have
I
picked?
don't know. So they settled on the Hawks, right?
So it's the Hawks.
It
the
is-
Heart High Hawks.
So they went from the
there's no-
Heart High Indians
Yeah.
to the Heart High Hawks.
I
So
don't know if I like that.
What's up, SCV? Shout out to these guys. They did a whole. Looks like it's a whole.
Looks like a math equation.
Yeah, it is. It does, right? So it was between the Bison. Oh, they gave you a challenge, man. The Bison
Dang.
versus the Buffalo. Okay.
Who comes up with the bison?
I've been telling the voice. It's all about the Bison, not the Buffalo. But he doesn't listen.
Heart
Look at him.
High
Look at him.
Bison.
Look at him. Look at him.
Yeah,
Why
look.
are you sweating now? All right. So the Bison, the Warriors, the Eagles, and the Hawks. And
Why don't
they
we-
settled on the Hawks.
Let's just throw in the Raiders. How about the Raiders?
well,
huh?
we're not going that route at all.
So
But-
when does this implement?
You
Next
know,
year?
That I don't know, but actually, yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And they're changing the logo and everything.
Everything has changed. I think it was spearheaded by the students. Good for them. So they're selling for not good for them.
That's a lot of history, man.
Yeah, I was going to say, how long? 50
I mean-
years? 60 years?
Yeah, it's a lot of legacy for sure. But again, new generation. I don't know.
I don't know.
That's
I
too
guess we
much
should.
power.
You're,
for
you're
kids.
Yeah.
hey, you're born and raised out here.
Absolutely.
So what are your thoughts on it?
That's a lot of history just to erase like that. There's a lot of people that went on to become big role models, big people in sports and athletics.
A ton.
And I was always played against them, and they were the Indians.
Yeah.
And you knew you were facing them that week. You practiced extra hard because you knew they were going to be tough. And I think personally, I when
You
it
don't
changed it.
love it.
What are they
I don't
gonna?
love
What
it.
about Sagas? They're the Centurions. Isn't that like a
I think that's
conquistador?
here
But
to
isn't-
stay. That's here to stay.
Yeah, but can't that be like conquistador? Or
I
something?
don't know.
No?
I don't
Where's
know.
it?
Slippery slope. Slippery slope.
I guess we'll let that go.
Yeah, another slippery slope. Again, another shout out to What's Up SCV. What is up with this pickup and drop off at local schools?
Oh,
Man,
it's a
all the
vicious-
drama.
I'll jump on that one. So my little girl goes to Plum Canyon Elementary School.
That's the
and
infamous one, right? Yeah.
Thankfully, I don't do too much of the pickup and drop off. But every time I do, I wonder how we can continue on sending parents and children into that mess. Their anxiety level must be through the roof. Wednesday trash days, you have to leave like an extra 20 minutes early, which I try to tell my wife all the time, you know, like get up 10 minutes early and get out of the house, because I don't want my little Sarita to have all that anxiety of you trying to rush into school. Take your time, park a little farther, go for a walk in the morning, because who wants to start their day or the pickup after school?
Yeah.
It's
It's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare. It's not. It's a nightmare. And I don't know how they could do anything to remedy that, to be honest with you, because it's in a residential area with one way in, one way out.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
my
I mean,
son goes to Bridgeport, and it's probably
same
not
issues?
It's more of in the parking lot, right? Where Plum Canyon, I think it's all drive-by.
We got Emblem too. I think Emblem has
Yeah.
a one way in, one way out.
What's the video where this guy just like rammed into the lady who was parked right in front? I mean,
She literally
parked
parked
on his driveway, right? Like,
What
That was
insurance?
that was a little much.
What insurance?
We're not even gonna go there, Ryan. But that was a little much. But man, I mean, it's the whole thing.
That was kind of wild. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm hitting the car parked in front of my
I don't think
driveway,
so.
but
I don't know about that.
you know, I understand where you could be very upset. You know,
Yeah.
there's something going on, and you got to get out of your house. And
Well, the best part about the video is he's like, I gotta go, and then she moves, and he never leaves. So it's like I don't know if he really had to go. Or
I will
what.
say this about insurance: you can't be negligent like that, right? So I don't know who his insurance company is, but I thought it was a little much.
Yeah.
But I
To
mean,
ram the car, right?
he probably sees it every single day.
oh,
during the
I'm
school
sure
year.
just
So-
annoyed as
yeah.
could be. It just happened to be this lady at that
Right,
you know, at
right,
that time,
right.
and yeah.
But let's be honest, we have the best school system.
1,000%.
So I
hands
think
down.
I'd rather deal with these issues.
That's why we
than
live
the
here,
other
right?
ones. Yeah,
That's why we live here.
100%. 100%.
And speaking
Which
of the
leads
best
the
systems,
best,
our
best
next
looking,
Oh, wow.
best everything, right?
Mr.
Yeah.
GQ himself.
Look at that smile.
Dude.
All right, let's do our guest host, Mr. Ken Striplin. Welcome, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Mr. GQ City Manager himself.
The
Thank you-
man.
The man.
The man.
Thank you for coming on.
Absolutely.
Can we start with you telling us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Obviously, city manager, as you mentioned. I've been the city manager for about, just finished 12 years working on
Wow,
year
congratulations.
13. Yes, been in the city for working on, this is my 28th year. So I've been around for a little bit. Raised my family here. I have 4 kids. I have a 22-year-old who's in the Sheriff's Academy right now. Who just got hired in
Yep.
Torrance Police
Nice.
Department. And then 3 younger ones. My 8, 9, 12, 14-year-old, I guess, is at Rancho Pico. Goes to West Ranch next year. And then I have a 12-year-old and a 11-year-old at Oak Hills. So, just keep them busy.
Yeah,
Living
man.
life.
So
You have a 22-year-old?
I do.
yeah,
Yes, I do.
he was actually the head coach of Jaden's flag football team this past fall.
Yes, he
did
was.
a great job.
Mr. Dak Prescott?
Yeah, Mr. Yeah,
He's
I call him
solid.
Baby Dak, Baby
He's
Dak. But during that, is when he actually got his calling, right, to become law enforcement.
Yeah, he got hired. He agreed to take the team because my
Okay.
younger son was on the team, and then
EJ.
right the second week of practice, he got hired in the academy and
Yeah.
pretty much said, "Hey, it's pretty much yours. I'll show up for the
Here you go,
games as
Dad.
best I can." So yeah.
How funny.
But it was great coaching with him.
So it's funny. So you are celebrating 13 years this year. What month?
December.
Okay, because I'm going to be celebrating 13 years of State Farm Agency, April 1st.
Time flies.
Yeah,
Really?
time flies for sure.
I've
didn't know
been
we had-
20 years in real estate, but no one knows
No,
that.
and then no one asked you, right? But I had no idea that we had that in common. Where, yeah, I guess I did know the former city manager, but yeah, you and I have in common that we've been in business in this city for going on 13 years.
Right,
Very, very
absolutely.
cool.
But you've been involved with the city for...
Over 28. Yeah. I finished 28 years last month, and you're working on 29.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're lucky to have him, for sure.
Where did you start off at in the city?
I actually started my senior year of college. I started out as a management intern with the first city manager of the city, and then just worked my way through the organization for the next 20 years or so.
How does, like, when you're young Ken, Like, do you just say?
Have you seen him? He's still pretty young.
He is
Look at
pretty
it.
young. He's a stud, absolute
on.
stud. But like, where does it like? I want to become city manager one day. Like, where does the passion come from, or the idea of becoming a city manager?
You know, it's interesting that you say that. That senior year of college, I had 2 internships at the same time. One was an elected office, an assembly person in the Valley. So I was doing part-time interning there, and then I got a job here in Santa Clarita. And originally, I kind of expected I would go into elected politics, and the experience I had there was completely different than Santa Clarita. I had fortunate to work with both the city manager at the time, George Carvalho, and then his assistant, Ken Polskamp, who became the city manager.
Ken Polskamp, yeah.
Both absolute leaders in the profession, great guys. Watching them work, being in a city as dynamic as Santa Clarita, seeing the things that they were working on, the ability to make a difference and participate, it caught on. And at that point, that's where I knew that's the direction I was going.
Yeah. And man, you and your team, I thank you guys all the time for the wonderful job that you guys do day in and day out. I mean, it's such a well-ran city that other cities like aspire to be like our city. Like, so what do you attest, or what do you think is the uniqueness of Santa Clarita?
It's the culture. It's the culture. We're a city, I think we're 36, 37. The culture, we were incorporated very small, probably 10, 15 employees, the original city manager. And as we grew older as an organization, that culture hasn't changed much. We've gone from 15, 20 employees to, we've got probably 450 full-time, another 500 part-time. So 1,000 employees working directly for the city, and then we've got another 1,000 or so contract employees on a daily basis working for the city. But even though we've grown to be a larger organization, the culture has, by and large, remained the same. The leadership styles of the 3 of us that have run the city, there's been a lot of continuity with that from that standpoint. The political leadership in the city, we've had a great deal of continuity of elected officials that have been amazing. And those 2 things together, really just makes a huge difference.
I agree.
It's such a massive growth under his watch, right? I mean, how many employees did you say started when you were first beginning?
When I got here, I think there were about 100 employees, 110 employees.
Wow.
So now the city's population was about 110,000.
The growth has been phenomenal. It's amazing.
Yeah. What do you see in terms of like our city? Like, is there a cap for us, or like how do you envision that?
It depends how you look at it, right? So the One Valley, One Vision general plan that looks at the whole valley caps the population at about 500,000, so about 500,000. So if you look at the city and then you look at the unincorporated areas of the county, at total build out, we're probably around 500,000 people.
Wow. Where does the other freeway go? I'll sponsor it.
You're gonna cut it right over the mountain.
Right. I'm sure you get that question asked all the time, right?
Roads are always a big issue. Absolutely.
Sure. Can you touch on that subject at all?
Sure.
Solutions. I know. I mean, I've lived here now for 15 years. Both of you guys, all your life. I mean, you guys seen the explosion in terms of population and just I guess the congestion when it comes to like traffic. Yeah. Are there any solutions coming?
It's tough, honestly, because there's different policies that are working towards each other, right? The state of California has decided that it is absolutely imperative that we build houses anywhere, everywhere, at all costs. It doesn't matter if it causes, congestion, circulation issues. It's build houses, build houses, build houses.
That's like their number one priority.
Yeah.
I don't think the general public actually knows that, right? They'll complain about like the roads and all the traffic, but they don't know that so we're required to do this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, we have mandates in terms of the housing production that we're supposed to meet, and we as a city in North County have room to grow. So as the state, as you look at the state, there's a lot of places that are built out that have more challenges that they have to meet these mandates. But we fortunately do have the ability to create new housing. With roads, we do, as each development comes in, we have an opportunity to try and extract those mitigation efforts from the developer to do it. We've got a couple of roads that are on the radar right now. Mm-hmm. We have the extension of Dockweiler that will create another extension from Newhall Avenue over to, or Railroad to Sierra Highway. Yep. You've got the extension of Via Princesa that will.
I was going to ask you, is that really?
Yeah, it's tied to the development there. There's a developer there that will, as part of their development, will have to grade it out, and then we'll come in and partner with them to build that roadway.
Yeah. That one will be huge.
It's super. People don't realize that to build. When we did the Cross Valley Connector, however many years ago, 15 years ago, that was about 8 miles, and it wasn't all just raw dirt, but that was about $250 million.
Wow.
So
but
build-
a game changer.
But
A game changer.
$250 million.
$250 million.
A couple of years ago. What would it be
Wow.
today?
Yeah, you're looking at Dockweiler, which is about, I think it's a little over a mile. We're going to be in the neighborhood of 45 to 50 million
God.
dollars.
Almost
Wow.
$50 million a mile.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, I'm in real estate, and you said something that I wasn't aware of, where California mandates that you have to build houses. That's got to be frustrating a little bit, right?
Yeah, and the general population has no idea the changes that have come down from Sacramento in the last 3 or 4 years. You know, one of the biggest complaints we get is, you know, when they talk about traffic, is stop building homes, stop building
Everyone
homes.
says that, yeah.
You know, it's
I'm a realtor, and I say that.
Yeah.
You know?
You know, a lot of it is, it's like, I just moved here, stop building homes.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Right.
It's a little
Yeah.
ironic.
Right,
But,
right.
but yeah, it's taking the local control out of development and just mandating it, and it's really going to be a game changer for the city.
Man.
Is it sometimes? I just wanted to ask real quick, because county and the city overlap a little bit. Is there issues where sometimes the road goes through county and you have to get approval from the county, or is it just
No, most of our stuff is all in the city.
In the city, okay.
Everything is in the city.
I mean, dare I say, people are moving up here from the valley, right? Dare I say, like in the next 10 years, we're the next valley? San Fernando Valley?
please
No,
don't say
never.
that? No,
Like that
no.
population? Okay.
Thank you.
All right, good. Yeah. Thank you for sure.
He is not letting that happen.
No.
way.
All right, perfect. That's what we wanted to hear.
Yes.
All right, so
Should we ask about maybe the basketball?
Go ahead. Just sure.
So we talked about the roads a little bit. I mean, I know youth sports is a passion for you as well. I know we need obviously fields and basketball courts. Is that something that's kind of on the horizon or in the planning, or?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, as you go back, we are about to open our 38th park, and that's Skyline, which is up by where you live, Henry. Building parks for, you know, one of our favorite parks commissioners.
Perfect.
How did that happen?
Shameless plug. Appreciate
go.
you, Ken.
You
Thank
getting
you.
a plaque? You getting a
Yeah.
plaque there?
And he put a baseball field for me. He
And
knows I'm a baseball
field,
guy.
yeah, 2 baseball fields up
Yeah.
there. So, but yeah, we've got our 38th park coming up, and then not too far from there, where David March Park is, we own about 8.5, 9 acres on the bottom half of that we're going to be building out. So we'll add some additional sports fields there. On the long term, we've got the sports complex where the skate park is and the activity center. We've got about 16 acres to build out as part of that project, which will bring more additional sports fields, basketball courts, BMX, all kinds of things. So we've got a number of projects coming in, constantly looking. Every time we open a field, it's already at capacity.
Yeah.
So we can't build them fast enough, but we're definitely continuing the effort.
I heard a rumor. I don't know if I can bring this up.
Uh-oh.
A rumor
Rumors.
about a possible roller ring.
Yes.
Is this true?
Yes, it is. Yes,
It is true. Okay.
It's our roller rink multi-purpose facility. But yeah, this is a project that's in design right now. We'll be going to the council in a couple months to do the rough grading on it, and then probably in a few months after that, we'll come back to the council to award a construction contract. But very excited. We've been touring roller rinks all over. There's not that many of them, believe it or not, but those things are super popular, and I think it'll be a great amenity to add to all the different offerings that we do right now.
You could have asked me that. You have a Parks Recs commissioner right here. But you know what? Kudos to you guys, because you guys do an extensive research on every single project. I mean, I was there and I saw all of the analysis we're doing, even with the BMX park, like of all the different consulting firms you guys, like, what does that look like? How do you guys bring all that in for a project like that?
Well, it's like you said, we're not experts in a BMX park. We're not experts in running a roller rink. So the areas that we need expertise in, we go out and we find the best people. We go to facilities that exist. We talk to them about their experiences, learn from their mistakes, and then at the end of it, pull together the best of the best and try to put together in a facility for us.
They go find the best people for the best city in the U.S., Santa Clarita. Awesome.
I want to give a shout out about the Cube.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was there recently. What a job the city has done there.
1000%.
Amazing.
Yes.
I didn't realize they have kind of an evening activity where you can skate around.
Yep.
My son was there, 8 years old. He had the time of his life. And they have a bar now. I mean, it's literally a hot spot. You did a great job.
Yeah, we get about
with that spot.
700,000 people in and out the doors a year. So
you guys just got a title sponsor for that as well, right? Is that 5 Point now?
Yes, 5 Point is the title sponsor
Very cool.
for the Cube.
Very cool.
Well, if you need a new sponsor, just let us know in the future.
You know who your guy is, Ken. Well, sticking to the theme of youth sports. So we had talked about that. Your kids are still playing youth sports. Mine are very much involved as well, but on the flip side, on travel sports, right? So whether it's travel baseball or travel football, what's your expertise? What do you like? What's your advice?
Yeah, I've been coaching for just under 20 years now. I've done both city programs. I've done travel programs and some of the private stuff that's out there. And honestly, it comes down to the kid, the family, the level of commitment, the willingness to, drive. If you're hardcore and want to do it, you can
the
go to travel like you
commitment.
probably do.
Oh my
You know,
God.
Where did you just go? Arizona?
Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do travel every weekend. That's not for every family. There's
Yeah.
different levels of athletics, which is what I love about the Valley. Is that you've got the city provides opportunities that are more recreation in nature and gives everyone an opportunity, and then you have some of the travel ball leagues and some of the private organizations that offer kind of a higher level of competitiveness. So it really caters to just about anyone in the Valley.
Yeah.
Do you think Santa Clarita could be kind of the epicenter where the travel would come here instead of having to go so far?
Yeah, I think that's part of what we look at is how do you this whole concept of sports tourism, which is how do you bring tournaments and things of that sort. We get swimming is a huge thing.
Huge,
Our aquatic center brings in all types of swim meets that generate a lot of hotel nights and so on. The last two parks that we built, we've actually gone to building baseball fields, which most of our parks are the kind of the old model, which is softball. It kind of accommodates both, but as Henry knows, when you're a baseball coach, having a baseball field is a different experience.
Yeah.
So the last two, and as we go forward, we'll probably start being more oriented toward those baseball fields. And the more that you can kind of string together, the greater ability you have to bring those
music
I like
to
it.
my ears.
I know, I like it.
Love it,
I like
love
it.
it, love it. So Ken, you've had. You're still raising a young family in Santa Clarita. What are some of the challenges that you're facing that from your perspective? How do you address those? How can you see the city helping or providing resources with families who are having some similar challenges?
with raising families.
Yeah.
I think from our standpoint, it's always been a core value of the city, and that is we want to make sure that we're providing recreational opportunities for the youth, right? We believe that if kids are busy, kids are occupied, keep doing something positive, it keeps them out of trouble. It keeps them on the right path.
Great advice.
We spend, I don't think there's a city our size or even bigger probably that spends and invests as much in the youth in terms of recreational amenities, sports facilities, and so on. But that's purposeful, right? We strongly believe that if you catch them at an early age, keep them busy, put them on the right path, we won't be dealing with them when they're late teens, early 20s on the public safety side.
Love that you said, and that is truly at the core value of the city.
Yes, absolutely.
Youth sports changed my life.
It's
I mean,
huge.
I tell this story all the time. My son was 7 years old, and I went through some personal stuff with his mom, and I dove right into coaching, and I met a lot of great friends, Jared and everyone I still talk to this day, and here I am 15 years later, and now I'm coaching my little one, and it's just, it's something that Santa Clarita it always will have a special place because the youth sports out here, nothing will ever compare to it.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Voice, can we bring you in?
Sure.
You're raising a young family also?
Yeah.
Well, Miko is 16? 15?
15,
August?
just turning
And then you have
15
little
August.
Sarita also?
Yes.
What does that look like for you in terms of youth sports and raising your family?
Well, she'll definitely get a start in the Santa Clarita rec league first, just to test to see if she likes it, if it's something that she wants to do. Right now, she's doing gymnastics. Jacob actually grew up playing down at William S. Hart baseball.
Hard baseball,
Yeah,
for sure.
he's still playing over there. Decided he didn't want to play for his high school team, which is his decision. And as long as they love to play the game, at any competition level you want to be at, I don't think that we were meant to be professional athletes in our family. So we always want to keep that dream, and I'll never tell them that I don't believe in them to become a professional athlete. But I got my start right here playing underhand slow pitch at Kenny Country softball fields, the one up on the hill. I'll still remember that all the time. And it was a great start to my baseball career, and I played all the way through high school, and I got started right here on the.
Hey, you played at all the high schools, right?
A couple of them.
To piggyback on Mr. City Manager Ken, what he said, a lot of what you said with keeping kids in sports, all of your friends, a lot of them you met through sports, right? And you still talk to them to this day.
Absolutely.
And we've grown up to be pretty decent.
There's
I don't know about you, but
Ryan, really.
maybe.
Your claim to fame is you played college football.
No, I'm not talking about
you
my
rode the
sporting
bench or something?
career. I'm talking about just riding the straight line.
Yeah,
I mean,
I hear you.
it's
I hear you.
huge, and I think Santa Clarita, I don't think it gets enough publicity. It's huge for the families out here. Yeah. It's huge.
Yeah, I mean, I've always called Santa Clarita kind of the diamond in the rough, but people from the LA basin are just noticing. There's a huge amount of people are moving in here from the valley, from the LA area. It is not the hidden gem that it used to be anymore. Like when I first moved out here 15 years ago. Ken, what are some of the upcoming projects that you can't speak on that most excite you about our city?
There's so much. Honestly, it's like every year we go through, and at the end of the year we kind of put all the accomplishments together, and it's never short of amazing in terms of seeing what we were able to accomplish as a community. But the recreational, the sports stuff are probably the biggest ones. We're building. We took over the YMCA. We're restructuring that, so we're opening another community center in Valencia. Long term, we're looking at building a library somewhere in Saugus, so we're always on the hunt for that right piece of property to build that out, and a community center there as well, which will pretty much lock up all 4 communities, or at least 4 of the communities with with community centers. But the big ones, the Haskell Canyon Bike Park is going to be amazing.
Yeah,
most people, it's not really on the radar yet, but we own about 200 acres of open space up Haskell Canyon. And we're in the process right now with the design build to come in, and it is going to be one of the most amazing mountain bicycle facilities.
That's awesome.
In all of
That's exciting.
Southern
That's
California.
going to be fun.
And that one really excites me because it's going to be a draw.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to be a regional draw, and people are going to, short of the ones that you have to pay for in Mammoth or Big Bear, this is going to be.
I know a lot of families are excited about that.
I might need an Airbnb my house.
I was fortunate enough to a couple years back to kind of tour the area. Very cool. I saw some renderings already. Yeah, it's a great project. Yeah.
Where is it in between, like Haskell? Are you allowed to disclose kind of where it is? Is it between Haskell and?
It's between Haskell. It's basically. Do you know where I guess it's Haskell Canyon Park.
Okay.
It's right across the street where the DWP, where the lines are.
Yep.
You just go up that road. We have an archery center
yeah.
there as
Have you been there?
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a staircase up there too as well.
There is a small one. Yeah.
Are we taking that over? Or?
Mr. Stairmaster himself.
Should we talk about that here?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll let that go. We'll let that go.
Can I ask about the Santa Clarita Elementary School?
Sure. What about it?
What do you have any plans for Santa Clarita Elementary?
Well, Santa Clarita Elementary it's owned by the Saugus School District. So I know they were going through a process to see what their future plans are going to be with it. I'm not really privy to what they're ultimately going to do with it.
Gotcha.
They're going to get rid of it or something?
Yeah,
Yeah. That's the rumblings. Yeah.
Okay.
There's going to be a change. I
More
think this is
parking
the last class.
Yeah, they're closing down the school.
Yeah.
What
I
they
didn't
do
know
with the
that.
facilities is not known at this point. As far as
I want to ask, but the YMCA, it's going to be kind of like what it is on the new one where it's like Sarah Highway, right? Is it gonna be something like that?
It's going to be similar in nature in terms of the programming we do out of it. Obviously, it's a much smaller building.
Yeah.
So it's less. The parking there isn't great. But we'll be doing prime time. We'll do summer camps. We'll do stuff inside. There's an indoor pool, so we'll have an aquatics element as part of that. But just another opportunity. Camps and Camp Clarita is always impacted. We always have wait lists. Parents are they love the program. So it's another facility for us to expand in those offerings as well.
And prime location, middle of the city. It's going to be perfect.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Ken, can you share some of the challenges that our city is currently facing and perhaps some solutions?
Yeah, I think that as you look at the city, the challenges that we're facing, obviously homelessness is a big issue.
Yeah.
It's not obviously just in the city, but it does affect the city. So it's a constant battle in terms of trying to provide services, get people off the streets, get people sheltered. Some of the solutions that have been in the process is Bridge to Home. We partnered with Bridge to Homes as well as did the 5th District in the county, helped fund the Bridge to Home shelter. So it's a year-round shelter, a new facility, expanded facility. It's going to be beautiful. I believe they're going to be opening in probably the next couple of months. So that's been a project that's been on the radar for years, probably 10, 15, 20 years. Yeah. So that's going to be a huge accomplishment. And then Family Promise is in the process right now. They're about to go vertical on a transitional housing project off of Newhall Avenue. And that is more oriented not towards the individuals who are dealing with homelessness, but families. So it's families are mothers with 2 or 3 kids, and it's more focused on transition. So it's getting them off the streets, it's getting them employed, getting them to permanent housing, and both of those organizations have done an amazing job.
Yeah.
That one's the one already under construction, right? I think
It's under construction.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, love that the city's collaborating and offering programs to help. So,
and that's probably one of your challenges as the city grows, right? To 500,000 people. Those are some of the challenges that we face: homelessness and everything else that comes with it, right?
Yeah, and it's what makes us unique. As you look at the history of the city, the things that we're most successful on as a community is that you have a strong school system. You have a city, you have a county that comes together and partners with us when opportunities present themselves. You have the college district. You have a host of nonprofits. And so you have all these different people that come together and really for one thing, and that's quality of life and taking care of people in Santa Clarita.
yeah, love that.
Do you know we're lucky to have him?
We're super lucky.
You're gonna be here forever, right?
Hey, just remind you, sure. I got him on. I got him on this episode.
Okay.
Reminding you.
Okay, but we are friends. We're friends.
We may
friends.
not be, but you guys could be.
Okay.
Ken, a few more questions and we'll wrap up this segment. Kind of a hot topic that many people may not know or privy to, or just not in the know. Districting. So it's coming this year. From your perspective, what kind of impact will that have on our city moving forward?
Districting has been around for a while. We were forced into it by a state law and an attorney from Northern California. But it does go into effect this election, November of 24, where we have 2 districts that will be up, or people will vote by district for the first time for the 2 vacant seats or the 2 seats. And then 2 years from that, the other 3 seats as they come up will be voted on by district. The 2 big things. One is instead of having 5 council members who represent all parts of the city, who are accountable to every resident in the city, when you email them, call them, whatever it might be, see them on the streets, they're accountable to everyone. They all vote. Right now, you get to vote for all 5 of them. Carving the city up into 5 areas is going to diminish that. It's going to diminish it significantly. So you now have 4 council members. If they're not in that district, I think right now, for the foreseeable future, I think hopefully we continue to get council members who view the city as a whole. But some of the long-term potential issues with districting is you start to get people who look at the city from a very myopic standpoint, or only the areas that they represent, as opposed to seeing the city is one whole organism. One part isn't doing well, the other 4, and vice versa.
Yeah, I can
Kind
see
of
that.
creates a divide a little bit,
Yeah,
right?
I can see that being a
little bit.
challenge for sure. I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head, accountability. Because if they're only accountable to their area, as opposed to right now, all 5 are accountable to the entire city, that could present a challenge for sure.
Why would the state of California even? How did this conversation even begin?
That's a
I guess
loaded
we can talk. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, that's a loaded. Yeah,
that'll
very
be after
political.
hours podcast.
Yeah.
But creating a divide, I don't think it's fruitful at all. But
Yeah.
I guess it is what it is.
On a lighter subject, can you maybe share some of the perks of being the city manager, or your favorite parts about being a city manager?
Keys to the city, man.
Keys to the city for sure.
I don't know if I'd use the word perks, but it truly is an amazing job. I have the honor of serving the community and having the ability to work. You mentioned my team. The city staff is amazing. Such a dedicated group of people that come every day
1000%,
and work hard for the right reasons. And so that's why we were able to accomplish that. I work with a great council, like I said, continuity of leadership, 5 people who truly care about the community and what they're doing. And so, it gives me a perfect environment, so to go out and to be able to build things, to add new amenities, to offer new programs. The commissions, I don't want to leave you guys out there. A critical element
We
of that
appreciate
as well.
you. Thank you, sir.
But yeah, I mean, it's a partnership that comes together and just creates more and more quality of life in Santa Clarita, which is amazing when you think about the challenges, the additional challenges every year that come from around us, right? Yeah. We are an oasis in a sense, because you go one direction, it's a different environment. You go another direction, it's a much different environment.
Yep. Yeah.
So, holding on to that oasis, if you will, and quality of life that's, unparalleled is a challenge. But being in a position where I have the ability to work with all these different people and build things and create things. I've been here for, like I said, over 28 years, so I can drive around the community and my kids get tired of hearing it, but I'm like, hey, I remember when I worked on that project 15 years ago and seeing the difference of what it looks like today, and then, doing things like the C4, the community center, building that, which was
an amazing project.
Or the sheriff's
The
station.
one where you have your plaque.
Yeah.
That one? Yeah, okay.
So yeah,
it is
C4,
awesome.
where you have thousands and thousands of people every single day coming and visiting that facility. I was there the other day, and there must have been 75 mostly seniors playing ping pong.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's an amazing facility.
Yeah, absolutely. So that as you talk about, that's the benefit for me. That's the reward I get from having the opportunity to be in the spot I am.
Yeah.
You know what's awesome about Ken as well is he's like real, like he's really coaching with his kids.
Yeah.
Everything he's talking about managing the city, but you see him actively in coaching with his kids, talking to the community, coming on our podcast. I mean, there's only so many people like him, so we're lucky.
He doesn't just talk to talk, but
Exactly.
he actually
That's
walks
what I wanted
the
to say.
walk.
Exactly.
Ken, maybe could you share some of the accolades that the city has been recognized recently?
We're always pretty consistently always ranked amongst the top safest cities in the nation.
Yep.
For cities our size, which again, with the challenges we continue to face and the lack of a district attorney, is amazing that the sheriff's department is still able to do that. One of the best places to raise a family.
Yeah.
I think one year I kind of joke about it. I think there was one year that we were one of the best places to raise a family, one of the best places for retirement, and I forget what the third one. And they all kind of seemed like like you might get one of them, but they might not be conducive to the others.
Right.
But I'm like, hey, we'll take all three of them. So.
Last question, and we'll wrap it up. So, for young aspiring city managers, what's your best advice?
For young aspiring city managers?
Or maybe someone who's looking to kind of get into that field.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's, I talk to young people within the organization all the time, and it's a great job, but it's a tough job. And, the more time you take to prepare and be exposed to different elements of it, learn the aspects that are technical, that are administrative, that are organizational, and then you got to learn the aspects that are community oriented and then politically oriented. So it's got its different components to it. But I tell people, hey, don't be in a rush. I know you're young and inspiring, but being a city manager for 20, 25 years is a very, very long career.
Yeah. Do you want to share who your favorite city council member is? I joke.
Hey, it's like my kids. I love them all the same.
Whoever you're talking to at that time. All right, Ryan. That wraps it up, Mr. City Manager.
That was awesome.
Mr.
Thank you so
GQ
much.
City
Yeah.
Manager.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much
Super
for being on
appreciate it.
this
Thank you so much.
EliteX exclusive podcast episode. Ryan, sign us off, buddy.
So for all of us here, Elite Podcast, and we are officially out.